example. So I find in my research that people who are older employees, for example, are less likely to get raises, to get hired into positions, to get promotions, to get funded for their ventures, all sorts of things. And the lay perception is that it's because of things like older individuals not being as technologically proficient, right? We have like lay perceptions of people. But what I find in my research is that there are underlying perceptions that drive those attributions. So in the case of ageism, there's one perception only that typically drives these negative attributions, and that's curiosity. That we assume that older employees or older individuals are less curious. And so before going into an interview situation, for example, I would tell older candidates, I would say to them, the one perception that they have about you is that you're less curious. And so then they would go into these interviews and I would hear them saying remarkable things like, I'm curious about your company's strategy and how it's evolved over time. Or I'm curious about the vision that you had and how it's sort of changed based on the current circumstances. And then what I find is not only are they rated higher in terms of things like curiosity, they're rated higher in terms of things like technological proficiency, things that they never talked about at all. And in fact, and based on this, they're more likely to be hired for the job, more likely to get the promotion, the raise, the funding for their venture than otherwise. Not only are they more likely than other people who are older candidates, but more so even than candidates who are not facing ageism. And so it's sort of, and this is not just about ageism. I find this for gender, race, ethnicity, class, sexual orientation, all sorts of things, where there are these underlying perceptions that are driving these negative outcomes. But we can actually sort of guide once we know what these underlying perceptions are. So that's sort of one category, like how we guide traits.